Well, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to this FoodRx workshop. This one is all about nutrient pairings, or what I like to call Your Food Has Friends. My name is Pam Sano. I'm the founder of Fit at 55, and I'm your host for all of these FoodRx workshops. So, first of all, I want to thank you very much for spending part of your day with me. I know your time is valuable, and I respect and honor that. So this is going to be probably around 35 to 40 minutes, depending on how quickly I talk, I guess. This is your first FoodRx workshop, or if you've never been to one before, I'm so glad you're here. So a little bit about me in case you're not familiar. I became passionate about nutrition as medicine just a relatively short time ago. Less than 2 years, actually. Now, I've obviously been passionate about health and wellness for longer than that, but using food as medicine is a relatively new concept to me. I think it started when someone very close to me was diagnosed with cancer in 2024. And in all of the ensuing medical appointments and doctor appointments, and trust me, there were a lot, nobody ever asked us or talked to us about nutrition, what we were eating, when we were eating, that type of thing. And that really surprised me and frustrated me, to be honest. So I started doing some research on my own. And what I found is that there is growing evidence that links what we eat and don't eat to our propensity and likelihood for contracting many types of diseases like cancer. By the way, if you haven't watched I highly recommend going back and watching those as well. They're all free. They're all on YouTube. They're all right around 30 to 45 minutes. So, not a huge time investment, but having information like this can make a significant impact on your long-term health. Lots of medical professionals, doctors, nutritionists, et cetera, writing about this subject. So there's lots of really good information out there. I'm going to link my favorite resources in the comments, so you'll be able to access those after the workshop is over. Before we get started, I want to ask you a simple question. Have you ever noticed that sometimes your baked chicken meal really fills you up and holds you, while other times you're hungry again an hour later? Now, obviously, there are other factors that can affect your satiety, like how much you exercise, how much you move that day, or how much protein maybe you had at other meals, or how much fiber. But there's another factor, relatively new science, and that's the concept of nutrient pairing. And when I say relatively new science, I would say probably last several decades. This is not a new concept to the this concept has been around for a very long time. We're just sort of impact can be on our health and our basically our eating plans. So healthy eating isn't just about what you eat, it's about how you pair your foods and how those foods work together. So hear me out. That might sound like a small kind of minute detail, but today I'm going to show you how and why it can make a surprisingly big difference. I like to think of today's workshop as not just your food has friends, but as nutritional matchmaking. Some foods are perfect partners to each other. They bring out the best in each other. They help each other shine. They unlock nutrients that your body might otherwise struggle a little bit to absorb. Other foods compete with each other, and that can potentially make it harder for your body to get all the nutrition you thought you were giving it. So once you understand these relationships, healthy eating becomes less about working harder and more about working smarter. And I think that's probably something we can all get on board with. So if you've attended one of my workshops before, or if you've seen me on social media, you've probably heard me say this: food is much more than calories. Food is information. And what I mean by that is that every bite that we take, everything that we eat sends a message to our body. So some foods tell our bodies to build muscle. Others help reduce inflammation. Some foods support our brain health. Some support our bone health, immune systems, or gut health. Today's message is pretty simple. Sometimes the most powerful nutrition change isn't eating different foods, it's just eating the right foods to each other in the same meal. So that should be good news to you because I am not here to hand you out another diet. I'm not here to advise you, oh, you've got to count calories, you've got to count macros. If you want to do all that, that's great. It's not going to hurt anything. You don't have to eliminate entire food groups. You don't have to go out and buy a dozen supplements. Instead, we're going to learn how to get more benefit from the foods that you're probably already eating. Why does this matter even more after we turn 50? Well, our bodies are incredibly smart, but they do change over time. As we women move through menopause and beyond, our hormone levels shift. You're like thinking, no kidding, right? Our muscle becomes a little harder to maintain. Our bone health needs more attention. Even our digestive systems don't absorb certain nutrients as efficiently as they did when we were in our 20s, 30s, even 40s. And I'm sure I'm not telling you anything that you haven't already noticed. And all of that isn't necessarily bad news. It's just a reminder that our bodies have new needs now. So think of it this way. Your smartphone sometimes needs an update to run efficiently, right? Our bodies need this. So we don't necessarily need a complete overhaul. We don't need an upgrade to the latest iPhone. We just need a few new strategies. What this workshop is all about. These strategies are practical, they're backed by research, and most of them will only take you seconds to put into practice. Here's something that might surprise you. You can eat a very healthy meal and still miss out on a lot of the nutritional benefits because your body might not be able to absorb those nutrients efficiently. Nutrition isn't only about what goes into your mouth, it's also about what your body is able to use. Now, the sciencey geeky word for that is called bioavailability, and that just means how much of a nutrient actually gets absorbed and put to work inside your body. So it's kind of like filling your car up with gas. So obviously putting gas in the tank is important, but if it doesn't reach the engine, you're still not going to go very far. So the same thing can. Our goal isn't just to put healthy food into our body. Our goal is to then help our bodies use those healthy foods as effectively and efficiently as possible. So I promise this is not going to be a college biology class. I'm going to give you just enough science to make everything else today make sense. So first, let's talk about vitamins. Some vitamins dissolve in water, so they're water soluble, like vitamin C and the B vitamins. So when your body gets those vitamins, it uses what it needs, and then the rest is flushed out. Other vitamins like A, D, A, they're different. They're called fat soluble vitamins because they need a healthy fat to be absorbed properly. So I'm going to let me share my screen real quick. I'm going to just show you a quick cheat. Now this is going to be I'm going to put a link to this in the comments as well, so you'll be able to take a picture of it, download it, read it, save it, whatever you want to do. But I just want to show you. When I talk about vitamins A, D, E, and K, you might be thinking, okay, that's great. They're fat soluble, but where do I get them from? So just a quick cheat sheet. These are some good sources of each of those vitamins. So again, there'll be a link to the comments, so don't worry about mad scramble to write them all down. Anyway, so what I mean by the fat soluble and needing healthy fat to be absorbed, what that means is that beautiful, healthy spinach salad that you might have eaten for lunch yesterday, that might have been even more nutritious if you drizzled it with a little bit of olive oil or added a few slices of avocado. And if you're saying, oh, I already did that, that's how I ate it. Well, then that's great. You've already unlocked the first food pairing. You've given your body the tools it needs to unlock those vitamins. So next, let's talk about something called cofactors. That's what we call nutrients that help other nutrients do their job. So you can think of them like teammates or friends. So for example, vitamin C helps your body absorb iron. Magnesium helps to activate vitamin D. And black pepper dramatically improves your body's ability to absorb the beneficial compounds in turmeric. So, food is constantly working together behind the scenes in ways most of us probably, unfortunately, never learned. So, as we go through today's workshop, I want you to listen for one recurring theme. We're not trying to put together every single meal perfectly. It doesn't have to be perfectly healthy every single meal. We're trying to eat strategically every meal, and we're trying to establish some consistency. So, I'm going to be talking about making some small changes, some simple pairings that you can make to eat to get even better results by all of your healthy eating. And that's what the FoodRx concept is all about. So let's get on to our first dream team. And we are going to start to discover how two simple nutrients can work together to help you get more from every bite you take. So pairing number one is iron and vitamin C, which I just previously mentioned. How often have you felt fatigued and just attributed it to getting older? Maybe you climbed a flight of stairs and got more winded than normal, and you thought, oh my gosh, when did this get so hard? Maybe you've noticed a little bit more brain fog than you used to, or found yourself reaching for that second or third cup of coffee just to make it through the afternoon. So obviously there are lots of reasons why we can feel tired and even fatigued. And I'm not saying that iron is always the answer, but I do think it's worth talking about because many of us women, especially after 50, we just don't absorb iron as efficiently as we used to. There are actually two types of iron in our foods. The iron from animal foods is absorbed pretty well on its own, but plant-based iron, where we get plant-based iron from foods like spinach, beans, lentils, fortified cereals even. That type of iron has a much harder time getting into our bodies, but that's where vitamin C comes in. Vitamin C is iron's best friend. It's like iron is standing outside waiting for a ride, it's raining, and vitamin C pulls up and say, hey, get in, I'll get you where you need to go. Obviously, a very simplified picture, but that's what's going on in your body. Fun fact, when you eat vitamin C with plant-based sources of iron, like the spinach, like the beans, lentils, your body is able to absorb 3 to 6 times more iron than it would have otherwise. So that same spinach, same beans, same meal, but with that one small addition and a much bigger payoff. So that's what I mean when I'm saying we're not eating more, working harder, we're eating smarter. Look like in real life? Well, it could be just squeezing some fresh lemon over your cooked spinach, which by the way is delicious. Squeezing that lemon over some roasted broccoli. Maybe toss in a few sliced strawberries into your spinach salad. Again, delicious. Stir in some diced bell peppers into your chili. Add tomatoes to a bean soup. Even having a small orange with an iron-rich breakfast can make a huge difference. So as you can see, these are not dramatic lifestyle changes. You're probably even doing some of these, maybe a lot of these. Just think of these as tiny upgrades that can help your body get more value from the foods you're probably already eating. Another thing to start paying attention to is adding something colorful whenever you eat something rich in plant-based iron. So if you've got some spinach on your plate, ask yourself, where's the vitamin C? Sometimes that can come from lemon, like we talked about. Sometimes it's tomatoes, berries. After a while, once you start looking at your plate and really kind of evaluating, it'll just become second nature. So that's what to pair with iron. Now, here are some things to look out for. Coffee and tea contain natural compounds that can actually reduce iron absorption when you drink them with an iron-rich meal. Calcium supplements can have a similar effect if you take them with an iron-rich meal. Now, hang on before you lose your mind. I am not telling you to give up your morning coffee or your afternoon tea. I would not expect to survive making a statement like that. But if iron is something that you and your doctor are working on, trying to, improve your level, try to enjoy your coffee or calcium supplement about an hour before or after a rich meal instead of taking it with it. So see how easy that was? Didn't make any drastic changes. We just simply introduced two foods that already belong together. And that is the magic of nutrient pairing. Pairing number two is vitamin D with healthy fat. And you remember a few minutes ago, I was talking about the fat soluble vitamins like vitamin D and how we should take them with a healthy fat in order to increase their effectiveness. So, vitamin D is one of the most important and hardest working nutrients to us as women, as aging women, let's say. Vitamin D helps support healthy bones. It helps your immune system work properly. It plays a big role in muscle strength, muscle repair, and it even helps to support our mood and brain health. So it's that important, and we need to ask ourselves, are we actually absorbing it? Vitamin D doesn't like to travel alone. It needs that healthy fat. Healthy fat is the key that unlocks the door and invites vitamin D inside. So instead of taking your vitamin D supplement, if that's what you're doing, with a glass of water first thing in the morning, maybe try instead taking it with breakfast or lunch if that meal includes foods like avocado, eggs, salmon, olive oil, nuts, seeds, or full fat yogurt. So, for example, if you're having scrambled eggs cooked in olive oil, you're already creating a great partnership between vitamin D and healthy fat. Salmon and sliced avocado, another great example. Even a handful of walnuts alongside your yogurt can help create an environment in your body where you're allowing vitamin D to do its job more effectively. Another fun fact, the Aztecs called avocados aguacatl, I think I'm saying that right. And they were so highly valued that they were sometimes used as currency in parts of Central America. And now we just go to the grocery store and buy them 3 for $5. So I'd love to see you move your vitamin D bottle again, if you're taking a supplement, move it out of your medicine cabinet and put it somewhere that you'll actually see it when you're eating. Habits like that are much easier to build when we remove a few obstacles. Um, More on that in James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. He says that if you're trying to establish a good habit, make it obvious, make it easy, make it convenient, and then do the opposite if you're trying to break a bad habit. Make it less obvious, make it difficult, make it inconvenient. So, if you want to, like I said, if you're trying to get in the habit of taking your vitamin D supplement with food, put it in your kitchen by your food instead of in your medicine cabinet. So just a little sidebar there. Another thing I want to emphasize. We've been taught for so long to be afraid of fat and to shun all fat. Healthy fat is not the enemy. Our bodies actually need healthy fats to absorb certain vitamins, as we've talked about, and to support everything from brain health to hormone production. So the goal isn't to avoid all fat. It's to choose the right fats in the right amounts. Okay, let's move on to pairing number 3, which is calcium and magnesium. So for years, we've been told that calcium is the superstar, right? When it comes to strong bones, drink your milk, take your calcium, protect your bones. And calcium certainly deserves a place in the conversation, but there's another nutrient that doesn't get nearly enough love, and that is magnesium. So, to make an analogy, if calcium is the construction material, magnesium is the construction manager. So, for example, you can have a truck full of bricks sitting at the job site, but without someone there directing where those bricks belong, that house is not going to get built. Our bodies work in a very similar way. Magnesium helps our bodies to use calcium properly. So it plays a role in building and maintaining healthy bones. It supports muscles, regulate hundreds of chemical reactions throughout our body, and even contributes to better sleep for many people. And in fact, I'll bet there's some people that are watching this that would say, "Yep, I've been taking magnesium for years to help me sleep." Fun fact: many of us over 50 we're getting enough calcium, but we're not getting enough magnesium. Stress, poor sleep, certain meds, and even alcohol, those can all contribute to reducing magnesium levels. Keep that in mind. So instead of wondering whether you're getting enough, should be asking, am I getting enough magnesium to help? The good news is that magnesium shows up in some pretty delicious and really easy to incorporate foods like spinach, pumpkin seeds, almonds, black beans, avocados, and yes, even dark chocolate. In moderation, my friends, I am talking about dark chocolate. I'm not talking about going and polishing off 6 candy bars because I said it was healthy. Everything in moderation. So one of the easiest ways to put this pairing into combining calcium-rich foods with magnesium-rich foods throughout the day. So there's probably a good time to tell you, if you stay all the way to the end, I'm going to give you a sample menu, 7 days, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and morning snack, afternoon snack, with some really effective nutrient pairings along the lines of what we're talking about today. So stay till the end. I'll give you a link to download that cheat sheet, that menu. Anyway, some good ways to incorporate some combining calcium-rich with magnesium-rich foods. So sprinkle some pumpkin seeds over your salad, throw some cheese on top, throw some slivered almonds into your yogurt, or build a meal around leafy greens and beans. This way, you're naturally creating a partnership that supports your bones. Another fun fact, I am all about fun facts today, aren't I? Beans have been a part of the human diet for more than 9,000 years, 9,000, making them one of the oldest cultivated foods on Earth. Interesting. By the way, if you take a calcium supplement, it's also worth talking with your doctor about whether you're getting enough magnesium or not. Sometimes we focus so much on one nutrient that we forget nutrition is a team sport. And that's one of the things that I hope you'll take away from this workshop, is that food isn't designed to work alone. It's designed to work in tandem with other foods. So pairing number 4, here we go, turmeric and black pepper. Raise your hand if you've ever bought turmeric because you'd heard it was good for inflammation, you'd heard it was good for pain management. Well, good reason. Turmeric has become very popular over the past few years. Its active compound, curcumin, has been studied for a while now, and it's because of its role in supporting healthy joints, brain health, heart health, and overall healthy aging. So that's the good news. The not so good news is that our bodies really aren't very good at absorbing curcumin on its own. So it's kind of like buying tickets to the Bon Jovi concert and then forgetting to go. So the opportunity is still there, but you're not getting the full experience. So that's where black pepper comes in. Why? I know, it seems like a really odd combination, doesn't it? Black pepper contains a natural compound called piperine, and piperine dramatically improves our body's ability to absorb curcumin. Adding black pepper, I don't know if I said that wrong or not. It just sounded weird in my head. Adding black pepper to turmeric can increase curcumin absorption by as much as 2,000%. 2,000. Yeah, stop and think about that. Our bodies really are truly amazing. One tiny spice can completely change how another food works. Another fun fact. I'm telling you, I am full of them today. Turmeric has been used in Indian cooking and Ayurvedic medicine for over 4,000 years. So long before scientists discovered piperine, cooks were already pairing turmeric with black pepper because somehow they figured out it just worked. So in today's terms, putting this into practice now really couldn't be a whole lot easier. If you're making soup or chili, or maybe you're roasting some vegetable, you're making some curry, or maybe a golden milk latte with turmeric, yum. Just add a few grains of fresh black pepper. Since curcumin is also fat soluble, including a healthy fat like olive oil or coconut milk will make this trio even stronger. So now, whenever you reach for the turmeric, you'll also automatically reach for the pepper grinder. They'll become BFFs in your kitchen. So one quick note, if you're taking a turmeric supplement, make sure you read the label, because a lot of high quality turmeric supplements already include piperine because manufacturers know how important it is for absorption. So it's worth taking a look at the label so you know what you're getting. The answer isn't usually eating more, it's simply helping your body use what you're already eating. Okay, pairing number 5, leafy greens and olive oil. All right, let's be honest for a second. For many, many years, a lot of us bought fat-free salad dressing because we wanted dressing on our salad and we thought we were making a really healthy choice, right? Then we discovered that those beautiful leafy greens like the spinaches and the kales, romaine, Swiss chards, they're packed with vitamins that need healthy fat to be absorbed properly. And you are not going to get that from a fat-free dressing. You're not going to get much taste from one either. You are not going to get taste from fat-free dressing. Sorry, not sorry. So remember when we said that vitamins A, D, E, and K all need a little healthy fat to help them get where they're going? Research has shown that we absorb significantly more of the beneficial compounds in leafy greens when those vegetables are eaten with a healthy fat instead of fat-free dressing. So in other words, that drizzle of olive oil isn't undoing your healthy salad. It's actually helping it do its job. Now, that doesn't mean that we get to pour half a bottle of dressing on our salad. It just means we need to stop being afraid of healthy fats. So a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, a few avocado slices, handful of walnuts, even some pumpkin seeds. Those are all really simple ways to help your body absorb more of those nutrients. Call it the no naked salads rule. Every salad gets a healthy fat. It doesn't have to be much, but it always gets one. Okay, we still have 2 more food friends to meet, and they're going to protect us. They're going to protect something that's very important to us after 50, which is our muscles and our gut health. So pairing number 6 is protein and leucine. We're going to talk about something. This one is going to affect our muscles more than anything else. Protecting our muscles becomes more important every single year after we turn 50. And why is that? A process called sarcopenia, and that's just a fancy word for muscle loss. It starts happening after we hit 40, and it starts to rapidly increase with every decade. And the good news is that it's not unavoidable. It's a natural part of aging, but there are things that we can do to combat it. Now, I'm not talking about becoming the next Joan McDonald. You know who she is, by the way? I'm going to share my screen because this is really an interesting story. Just a little sidebar here. So this was Joan McDonald. She was in her 70s when she started this journey. I don't know what year this one is, but this is 2008, and this is her in 2021. And she has continued her healthy and active lifestyle, lost 65 pounds, off of she's off of her medications for high blood pressure. She's off her meds for high cholesterol, acid reflux. So this is a really good example. She was in her 70s when she started this journey, a few weeks before her 71st birthday. So, and that's her lifting up her daughter, who is a fitness trainer. So you see, it's never too late. Never. Okay, let's get back to it. Anywho, the muscles I'm talking about, not like Joan McDonald, unless you want to follow her footsteps, that would be great too. No, I'm talking about building muscles that will help you carry groceries in from the car, climb the stairs, get up off the floor. That's a big one, right? Lift your grandkids or your pets, enable you to travel, garden, stay independent for years to come. So, as I said, the bad news is that one of the biggest changes that happens as we age is that we naturally begin to lose some of our muscle mass. But the good news is we have obviously plays a role, especially strength training. Nutrition is just as important, and that's where leucine comes in. So leucine, you're probably wondering, what in the heck is that? It's one of the amino acids that's found in protein-rich foods, and it acts almost like an alarm clock for your muscles. So it tells your body, hey, wake up, time to repair, rebuild, and maintain this muscle. Research shows that spreading protein intake throughout your day is often way more effective than bunching it up in one meal like dinner, like most of us do, right? In other words, your muscles really appreciate several opportunities throughout the day to rebuild instead of just one. So think about a typical breakfast. Maybe sometimes you grab some toast or a muffin on the way out the door to work. Maybe a little cereal. Maybe sometimes you just have coffee. So there's nothing inherently wrong with those foods, but they just don't give your muscles a whole lot to work with. So now imagine a breakfast with Greek yogurt, maybe some eggs, maybe some cottage cheese. Now suddenly your muscles are receiving that signal, those building blocks that they need to repair and stay strong. So one question to ask yourself every morning is, where's my protein? If you're consistent with it, it'll become a simple habit that automatically helps you make better choices without even overthinking. So protein-rich foods like eggs, chicken, salmon, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, edamame, whey protein, those are all excellent sources of leucine. If you happen to be following a plant-based eating pattern, then combine foods like beans and whole grains throughout the day. That will help create a more complete protein profile and really help your body utilize it better. Okay, last food friend pairing, probiotics and prebiotics. I think this is the perfect one to end with because it reminds us that good nutrition isn't just about us. It's about the trillions, literally trillions of tiny helpers that are living inside our digestive system. So when most of us hear the words gut health, maybe we think of digestion. And that's part of it for sure, but your gut does so much more than that. It plays a role in your immune system. It helps to regulate inflammation, helps to support hormone balance. It can influence your mood, and it can even affect how well you absorb nutrients from the foods you eat. So what is a probiotic? Probiotics are the beneficial bacteria that are found in foods like yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, and miso. And I'm going to share my screen again and show you a probiotic. That's after the workshop is over, so you don't need to worry about writing this all down. It'll be there for you at the end. But these are some really good examples of where you can get probiotics. So like I said, yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, tempeh. So take a look at that at the end of the workshop, and you can download it, share it, save it, whatever floats your boat. Then prebiotics. Those are the foods that feed the beneficial bacteria. And those types of foods are, I'm going to share my screen again because, of course, I have another cheat sheet for you, which again will be, a link will be included in comments. So prebiotic foods: garlic, onions, leeks, asparagus, bananas, oats, apples. So probably some foods here that you're not crazy about, but I'll bet of those 20 foods, and trust me, there are way more than 20. I just picked 20 for the purposes of that cheat sheet. But I'll bet there's some foods on there that you're already eating and can easily pair with a probiotic. So think of prebiotics and probiotics as the flower garden in your yard. The probiotics are the flowers, and the prebiotics are the water and the sunshine. Can't have a flower garden without one or the other. I'm going to give you, your digestive system is home to literally trillions of bacteria. The goal isn't to get rid of all bacteria. The goal is to feed the good ones, the beneficial ones, so they can help take care of you. One of the easiest combinations of this pairing is plain Greek yogurt topped with oats and sliced bananas, maybe even some sliced almonds. So the yogurt is providing the probiotic, and the oats, bananas, almonds are nourishing bacteria. You can also into your smoothie. We love putting kefir into our smoothies. It not only helps it taste better, but it's also very, very good for you. Um, Include sauerkraut with a meal that includes onions or garlic, or add asparagus to your dinner. All these are very simple combinations, very delicious combinations, and they help create a healthier environment in your gut. Okay, I think this is the last fun fact I'm going to give you, but this is a really fun one. Yogurt is one of the prepared foods. Food historians believe that people accidentally discovered it over 7 years ago when milk naturally fermented in animal skin bags during travel. I know, kind of a yuck that turned into a yum. But anyway, one thing that I hope you'll remember is that probiotics are an integral part of a healthy lifestyle, but they are not a substitute for one. We've got to feed those healthy bacteria every day, and that's where the real magic starts to happen. Food really is smarter than we give it credit for. Okay, before we wrap up, I got to take a water break for 1 second. I don't usually talk this long and for this consistently, so I start to get a little hoarse. So before we wrap up, I want to share one more idea that has really started to fascinate research over the past several years. So we've talked about what to eat and what foods work together. Now I want to talk about the order in which we eat them. Because believe it or not, eating the exact same meal in a different order can dramatically help reduce blood sugar spikes after we're done eating. Research has shown that when we eat vegetables first, protein second, and carbs last, blood sugar, and if we begin with the carbs first, like the bread, potatoes, or rice, followed by the others. So think about your dinner plate. Instead of diving straight into the mashed potatoes, I know we all do it, try to start with the vegetables. So, you know that saying, eat your vegetables first? Well, try it, literally. Then enjoy your protein, and then finish off with the starchy foods, the carbs. Nothing else changes except the order. It's simple, and it's something you can try tonight. Okay, let's take a step back for a moment and just take a look at what we've learned today, and that is food doesn't work in isolation. Your food has friends. Iron has a friend, vitamin D has a friend, calcium, turmeric, leafy green, even the healthy gut bacteria, they all have friends. Nature's been pairing these foods together long before scientists gave those relationships names. So it's our job now just to recognize those partnerships and take advantage of them. The really nice thing is you don't need a brand new pantry. You don't need to go buy all new food. You don't need to go out and buy all new supplements. Don't need to overhaul your entire diet. You just need to make one small modification at a time. And I promise you, those modifications will add up. All right. So instead of asking you to remember everything we've covered today, I am going to leave you with those links to the cheat sheets that I prepared. But I also want to leave you with a simple challenge. It's called the 7-Day Food Friends Challenge. And you can track your progress using this tracker right here. So it's the 7 food friends that we went over today, the 7 food pairings. And then the second page is a tracker for you every day this week. You track what pairing you targeted and what you ate in order to satisfy that pairing, and then just give yourself a little check mark when you're done that day. Very simple. I will include a link to this as well in the comments so that you can download it, print it out, whatever floats your boat. But just for an example, maybe Monday, because I want you to choose one Monday, you choose spinach with lemon. Maybe Tuesday, you mix Greek yogurt with some banana or some oats. Maybe Wednesday, you combine turmeric with black pepper. Thursday, same with avocado. You get the idea. So just be intentional. Pay attention to what you're eating, how you feel. Are you noticing more energy? Are you noticing that your digestion feels better? You don't have so much acid reflux. And then notice how hungry and satisfied you stay, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours after your meal. Sometimes these small changes are the ones that produce the best results and maybe even the biggest surprises. So that brings us to the end of our workshop. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope that you feel excited and encouraged. I certainly hope you don't feel overwhelmed or confused. If you do, please reach out to me. I am more than happy to go over this, one-on-one, explain anything that maybe wasn't quite clear. Happy to do that. I would love to do that. Just remember that healthy eating isn't about getting everything right and not making some maybe not so perfect choices. We all do it. We're human. It's going to happen. We just always need to be open to learning a little more. We need to make the decision that we're going to make a better choice today than we did yesterday. And you need to trust that those small choices really matter and will really add up. As friends, so just make the introductions. Your body will thank you. Again, thanks so much for joining me today. I really enjoy hosting these workshops because in putting them together and doing the research, I always learn something new. That's where those fun facts come in. And that is in part what helps to keep our brains healthy as we age. Speaking of healthy brain, I'm going to be publishing a free micro course on my website, fit55.com. It'll go live later today, and I think it's going to be called Brain Fitness, Think Sharp, Live Bold. I might change that title before it goes live, but either way, I'm going to put a link to it in the comments after the workshop when the replay is posted up on YouTube. So if you're watching this on the replay, the link should already be there. So check it out. Again, it's free. Let me know what you think. All my resources are still all free. And as a special thanks for staying until the end, here is that sample 7-day meal planner that I told you about. Oops, let me get back to it. That's not it. Please stand by. It is right. There you go. I'll make it bigger. Yeah, I think that's big enough. Hopefully you can see that. Should be able to scan it with your phone. If not, let me know. I can certainly email it to you. I can get it to you another way, or I can just send you the document, whatever works. support@fit55.com. That's my email address. Email me with any questions, any concerns, any issues. I'm available for nutrition coaching, all the things. So that's it for today. Thanks again for joining me. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's workshop. I always welcome any and all feedback. I always want to provide valuable resources to you. So I really need to hear from you on what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear. Anyway, you get the idea. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and stay cool out there, especially if you're in an area with extreme heat warnings. Love you all. Bye for now.